Today I'm here to talk about a missing piece in our education system, a philosophical piece, a piece that I think we have seen a lack of recently in our education, a piece that allows us to challenge our minds, that allows us to ask ourselves big questions, questions that we don't understand, questions that we should be asking, not only to ourselves, but to the youth, and that is uncertainty. In the world around us, we are surrounded by a myriad of knowledge of different types, absolute knowledge, uncertain knowledge. But too often, we like to instill knowledge that we only know, knowledge that we understand, knowledge that we claim true. But what is truth? Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm here to tell you that what we should be striving to achieve is a balance in knowledge. A balance between certainty and uncertainty. A balance between knowledge that we know and don't know. In areas of the world where we see a lack of ethical integration, a lack of providing our youth with opportunities to expose themselves to challenging phenomena that we don't understand, we notice violence, we notice hate, we notice conflicts. But what do I mean by uncertainty? I want you to imagine a brain. This is your brain. You are the knower. Now outside this brain is the external world. This is the world around you. A world where knowledge exists, where stimuli interacts with you in your internal world, that forms the person you are, the mindset you possess. Now outside your brain, in the external world, we see knowledge, different types of knowledge. One of those types is what I like to call certain knowledge, absolute knowledge. Knowledge such as science and math, knowledge that we simply memorize, that we seem to know or understand through small readings. But you see, this isn't the only type of knowledge. There's also another type of knowledge that I like to call uncertain knowledge. Shown here as fuzzy balls of multicolored balls, we see uncertain knowledge is not very definite. Uncertain knowledge is big questions, questions that we don't understand. For example, if I were to ask you, what is knowledge? Have you ever asked yourself that? What is knowledge? Plato would say knowledge is a justified true belief. But that isn't the only definition of knowledge. If I were to ask you, what is life? What would you say? You see, it's by asking ourselves these questions that we challenge our mind, that we force ourselves to invent answers, to create answers, because there isn't only one answer to all the questions in the world. And through interacting with these two types of knowledge, we form mindsets. Two types of mindsets is how I like to put it. A mind of certainty and a mind of uncertainty. You see, most often, we like to develop minds of certainty in the world, because it is in human nature, after all, to form minds that we understand, to study things that we think we understand, to think we know. We don't like to challenge ourselves, to delve into topics that we haven't quite understood yet in our generation. But you see, what we should be doing is striving for a balance. We should be asking our youth, what do you think knowledge is? What do you think life is? Where did we come from? Because it is only by asking ourselves these challenging questions that we form a mixture of the two. A fuzzy mind, a fuzzy brain, with certainty in the middle, at the heart of who we are. My parents had a story like this. This is a picture of my father. Well, 3/4 of him. My father was born in Kampala, Uganda in 1963, 10 years before the dictator Idi Amin came into power. Now you see, Idi Amin, who came to power in the 1970s, was a tyrannical dictator. He believed in ethnic cleansing, in discrimination, and he discouraged diversity. As a result, my father was forced to move to Canada as a refugee. He was exiled because of a ruler who viewed the world in absolutes, because of a ruler who viewed the world in black and white, a ruler who had a mind of certainty. My mother had another story. My mother's from Syria, born and raised. When my mother was young, She would always explore her world and invent answers for herself. She lived in a world of uncertainty, a world where children were encouraged to discover knowledge, were encouraged to not accept only one answer, but to invent their own. Recently, we see what the problems of a mind of certainty does. It creates absolute thought, a black and white world where extremist groups such as ISIS rise because they only believe there's one answer to every question. They only believe there's one possible group that can rule the world, or who's right. Fortunately for me, when I was young, my parents would instill in me the idea of uncertainty. They would say, don't search thinking there is an answer always. The pursuit of certainty blinds you from truth in different forms. But what does this mean? You see, not all questions have answers. So what we have to do is challenge ourselves to explore questions that have no answers. We need to invent answers. We need to create a new mindset. And we see problems with certainty. It makes us blind. It creates conflict. It creates a simple mind. And it promotes ignorance and gives us a false sense of hope. But what can we do? What we should be doing is asking our youth, where do you think life comes from? What is knowledge? I want you to go see a child that you know and ask him, what is knowledge? Don't ask them, what is 1 + 1? Ask them these hard questions, because big questions are required if one wants to make a big difference in the world. If one wants to have a big way of understanding the world and make a big difference. So what we must do is implement courses such as philosophy, theory of knowledge, little courses like these in the education of our youth. Even when they're 5 years old, just ask them these questions. Because if we do this, then I believe in the future, we will see conflicts mitigated. Through moderation only, I believe, we can end domination. Thank you.